Hello, all you curious creatures out there. I'm Amber A.
And I'm Andrew McKay, and welcome into The Portal, a place where we discuss all things lost, unexplained, and straight up strange. Ancient lost history, cryptozoology, worldwide myths and legends are all things to expect when you dive into the portal.
Like the time we covered the strange case of giant humanoid swimmers in Siberia's Lake Baikal, or the terrifying legend of the Braxton County monster who stalked the hills of West Virginia.
Oh, and don't forget about the enduring mystery of Egypt's lost underworld.
We dig it all, so join us every week for a brand new adventure into some of the world's lesser-known unexplained phenomena, cryptid creatures, and historical mysteries.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and anywhere you get your podcasts. And of course, at intotheportal.com, your gateway to the bizarre. So come join us.
The only question is, will you peer into the portal?
Frosty the Snowman.
I don't know.
I was going to join in for a second, and then I thought better of it.
As long as there's no Jingle Bells by like Mariah Carey, that song. That's
we can sing Jingle Bell Rock.
What about All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey? The only Christmas song that matters.
No Mariah Carey Christmas songs.
Wait, what?
I'm sorry.
Is this friendship over?
I just think it is. Even though I hate Christmas music. Hate it.
That song is essentially like the song that they're making fun of, and it's about a boy.
So? What do I care? You're acting like it's about a boy is like the Bible, and I have to care what it says.
No, you don't have to, but I also don't particularly...
Liz, Hugh Grant was in that movie. It's... There's nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do about it, but no, I don't particularly like that Christmas song. I'm sorry, don't like it.
It's like the only one I like.
Okay, Rochelle, what's your favorite Christmas song?
Oh, God, I don't know.
We're trying to do a holiday special. Could you spread some motherfucking cheer, Rochelle? Is that too much to ask?
Have we introduced ourselves?
My favorite song, even though I'm not Jewish, is the Hanukkah song from Adam Sandler.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay.
Samantha.
Part 1, 2, or 3. I don't really care. Just use whatever celebrities you want.
Whoa. Rochelle just blew my mind with that deep Adam Sandler reference. Okay.
I was also a child of the 90s and thought he was cool when I was 7. So,
well,
7 to 12.
Yes, I was definitely at 7 at the height of his popularity. 7.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Is this podcast already off the rails? We really should introduce ourselves.
Well, we did have some wine before.
Drinking.
Trader Joe's cranberry wine.
Did you know that this is Perhaps It's You, an unofficial Unsolved Mysteries recap?
Rewatch, watch,
all of the above.
Bippity boppity boo.
How drunk are we?
So, but the thing is, this episode... a little holiday special that has fuck all to do with Unsolved Mysteries.
Yep.
Boom.
It's adjacent.
Yeah, sure.
We're also here with a special guest, Rochelle. Friend of the
Rochelle.
pod, has been on the show before.
She's our resident history nerd.
We're finally bringing Rochelle on the show to talk about something besides a mystery we just don't want to talk about.
Yeah. Instead, we're bringing her on to talk about the holidays, which we also kind of don't want to talk about. And we're not even really talking about that.
We're not talking. Yeah, this is going to be a Christmas special that's a lot better than our last Christmas special, which was about dead children.
We've acknowledged that doing the forensic files that all took place on Christmas is one of the worst ideas I've ever had in my life. Up there with the putting tuna salad on a raisin bagel. We've established that. Is it as bad as my platform shower shoes? Samantha.
It's close. It's close. It's almost too close to
In my
call.
logic, if you need shoes to wear in a gross shower, I want it to be as far from the gross floor as possible.
That just sounds dangerous.
It sounds like you'd slip in, twist your ankle real quick.
I don't recall falling in the shower, but I did fall down a lot of stairs that year. Like a lot of stairs.
Was this in college?
Clearly, yes. But in my defense, did my mom also think that was a good idea? Yeah, she did. So,
all right,
your mom's
bad
kooky,
parenting.
but she is pretty awesome, though, too.
Well, yeah. I didn't say she wasn't. Rochelle.
Sorry.
Rochelle met my parents over the summer. We went on a cemetery tour together. I think that's what most people do.
Yeah, shout out to Liz's parents who listen to the show.
They do and shake their heads in shame. Oh dear.
Yeah. So we're drinking wine and coming up with some holiday content for our favorite listeners, which is that we're going to read stories from these obscure Minnesota ghost books.
How can you call things called the M-Files, True Reports of Minnesota's Unexplained Phenomena, obscure? I think we're all familiar with this book.
Liz has a stack of like 6 books
What's
with
that
little
one?
notes on
Did you
them.
think we would be reading from Haunted Lakes 1?
Fuck no.
No, fuck no. You're a fucking bitch. We're listening to Haunted Lakes 2. 2, motherfucker! Because that's where...
Is this as good as Addams Family Values? Like, it's better than the original?
There's a few sequels that are better. Addams Family Values, classic, beloved.
Clearly.
Addams Family's good. It's not as good as Addams Family Values. Batman Returns, better than Batman.
Can't argue with any of this.
Haunted Lakes 2. I don't know if it's better than Haunted Lakes because this is the one Half Price Books had. Okay, we also have Haunted St. Paul. This is a new acquisition to our collection.
Ooh.
Thank you, Patreon supporters. This is the kind of shit I do with your money. Thank you. Okay, we also have
Don't hit your wine.
Yellowstone Ghost Stories.
Which was sent to us.
This was sent to us by a listener. If you see a cheesy book like this and you want to send it to us,
We may
Do
read
it.
some excerpts
Do it.
on the show. And I have Ghostly Tales of Minnesota.
not to be mistaken with Ghost Stories of Minnesota. We have
Ghostly's
both.
Tales is like a third of the size of Ghost Stories.
Yeah.
And they're different fonts, just to so you
Gina
know.
Teal wrote Ghost Stories in Minnesota.
Ruth D. Hine wrote Ghostly Tales.
I feel
Do they
like-
both have
I think-
afros, or just one of them has
Ruth has a
the
bit
tight
of an
perm?
afro.
Or is it a tight perm?
No, it's a tight perm.
I think
See?
Ruth might have kind of phoned it in a little
This
bit.
is Ruth, Rochelle. Is she what you expected her to look like?
Ruth is like an 85, like Lutheran church mom.
That's
Well, yeah, who else
exactly
would write
right.
Ghosty Tales of Minnesota?
That's exactly right.
She had time in between making one batch of hot dish and the next batch of hot dish to write Ghostly Tales of Minnesota.
Making love so not y'all. It's the other stuff.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Rochelle, this is Ruth's bio.
Oh, God.
Ruth D. Hine grew up in Van Horn, Iowa as a middle child in a ghost-free Lutheran personage.
You know what? I grew
Okay.
up in a ghost-free place too.
But also, she's Iowa,
You
so
were
why
right
she's...
that she was Lutheran.
I guess Lutheran.
I mean, that's a pretty good guess about any old lady in Minnesota.
Yeah, but also from Iowa. Why should there not Ghost Stories of Iowa? It's
now,
just
no.
bullshit.
Okay. She lives in Worthington, Minnesota now. And
I don't know what
collects-
that city is, so I reject that reality and
She
substitute with my
collects
own.
ghost stories and writes a historical column
Not that
for the
many ghost stories. She collects like 5 ghost
Yeah.
stories.
for the Worthington Daily Globe. Are you insulting Ruth's legacy?
Fuck yes, I am.
She has been a ghost author for 14 years.
So what you're telling me, what this sounds like is basically she's the town gossip. She gets all their stories
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
like, oh,
How
someone saw
dare
something
you
spooky.
slander this good Lutheran woman?
This doesn't have a bio. I'm sort of wondering who Gina Teal is. Also, this says 9 on it. Is this the 9th volume?
Fuck yeah, it is.
Ghost Stories of Minnesota.
Or is it just like 9 in a
Well,
series of ghost
I
stories?
think so because when we went like maybe last year to Landmark together.
the Landmark Center.
Yeah, they did have some cheesy books like this, and I do believe there was several.
This is serious, Rochelle. These are not cheesy.
Right.
How dare you insult Haunted Lakes 2? Look at this cover where an old man is like beckoning a rowboat by a grave.
Like it doesn't even look like Photoshop. It's like a tour between like shitty Photoshop and shitty.
Oh no, they made this
art?
in Paint. You know,
Yeah.
you know MS
Yeah.
Paint that comes free on your computer. This,
I say this like I'm like historically accurate and all that other shit when I bought you guys like the alien pins. So like,
yeah,
Sorry.
we're both right now wearing alien pins that Rochelle gave us because for some reason when she comes on our show to help us do work that we get money for, she gives us gifts. How it should be. So
Step up your game, other friends.
So we're both wearing alien head pins now, which I think just like complete a look.
well, it's
for
also
sure.
very 90s alien, like the big.
This is the only type of
Green.
alien I recognize.
It looks just like Robbie Stacky.
Yeah, but he's not our mascot anymore.
No, Mustache is our mascot. Rochelle, we are recording this episode on the same day we recorded one of our last episodes where we talked about hero dog Mustache of the French Revolution.
He was real.
His name was Mustache and he was a French poodle and he saved lives in the French Revolution.
He's a fucking poodle. I have nothing to say about that.
dare you?
First Mariah Carey, and now this.
No,
I'm a hater of
mustache?
poodles. I love dogs.
Okay, this was
a
an
revolutionary
ancient
poodle.
Revolutionary World War II poodle. If it's revolutionary, then I don't care.
He was probably sharpening a guillotine with his little paws, and that's all you have to say.
How is he doing that?
You're kicked off this podcast.
Yeah,
Okay, bye.
No, come back.
We need you, actually.
We need you so
Okay,
much.
what's the first story we're going to read?
Oh.
Do you have one picked out, or should I read one?
And
then am I supposed to pick up a book or not?
Okay, I picked out a story from Ghostly Tales of Minnesota called, for some reason, all of these little vignettes are like questions. That's the title. So this one is,
Would you like to read this?
this one's A Ghost in the Drain, question mark.
Sure. Is it? Or
Okay,
is
we'll
it?
find out.
Also, all the ghost stories in Minnesota are like so wholesome.
Yeah, a haunted drain. All right. A college student doesn't need surprises.
Yeah,
well, pleasant ones might be welcome, but not unpleasant ones such as those
Isn't
reported
that
at
true for everyone, not just college students who likes unpleasant surprises?
reported at Hoyam, a girls' dorm in Concordia College in Moorhead. Picture a freshman girl getting ready for a date. She looks in the mirror above the wash bowls and sees a hooded and caped figure behind her reflected in the mirror.
Okay, that would be
Wash
terrifying.
bowls? What the?
Yeah.
What kind
This
of
is
like
the
1930s?
1800s.
Oh god. Okay.
Or she looks out from the shower to see the mysterious figure hovering just above the shower door. Definitely not a welcome surprise.
Oh, that would be terrible.
Or think of a student
that
who has
perv.
attended all her classes, endured a full hour of orchestra rehearsal, and then worked in the cafeteria line to earn her board.
Wait, what does this have to do with drains? So at this point, this ghost is playing in the orchestra?
Look at Ruth is setting the stage.
I'm sorry.
She's tired.
I'm going to eat another mini
But she has to study a good 3.5 hours in a dorm full of girls before she can go to bed.
What is the full of girls part relevant? Is she... All right.
They're distracting her with their pillow fights.
This sounds very much like a very like
making out and...
I will share like being the 13-year-old girl I was when I was 13. This sounds very much like a fan fiction beginning. Like a lot
It
of
might be.
overdramatic. Like,
We'll see.
Okay,
We'll see
whoa,
where Ruth
whoa,
goes.
whoa,
Maybe
whoa,
this
whoa,
gets
whoa.
erotic.
Rochelle,
yeah.
swear on a stack of Robert Stacks. Did you write any fan fiction when you were 13?
About NSYNC? Yeah, of course.
Okay, I didn't write any fan fiction, but here is a confession. I read almost every day Phantom of the Opera fan fiction.
Oh, wow, you're a different level.
There was a whole website dedicated to Phantom of the Opera fan fiction.
Don't worry. There's a whole website about Lord of the Rings
Well, I know.
fan fiction.
There's
So don't worry.
lots.
There's a lot of
There's
them.
lots of these, but
Liz's head is
Stop
about to
laughing.
explode.
stop laughing right now.
We were 13. It's totally okay.
I'm pretty sure I was around 13.
Yeah.
Liz is fanning herself because she can't handle it.
I didn't see that coming and I love it.
That was
Yeah.
me as a child.
Did you print out the good ones and then like keep them in your caboodle?
I didn't keep it in a caboodle. I kept it in a 3-ring binder like a normal person.
Oh, yeah.
But to be fair, I also kept like Eddie Izzard's like whole comic, like whole special word for word that was transcribed by someone else on the internet. Printed it out and also had that in there.
Well, yeah, that's like you should put that in your bomb shelter because that's a necessity.
I think I didn't want my mom to know I was on the internet every day reading Phantom of the Opera fan fiction, so I just kept them like I had like secret bookmarks or something. I don't know how I did it, but
Yeah, there's no way my mom didn't know at the time because I was printing them out. She's like, "Why is there ink going?" I'm like, "Oh, no reason. I'm just reading these things that
it's definitely
could
not
read
going
for
to
free."
Phantom of the Opera fan fiction.
Yeah,
I definitely read X-Files fan fiction, but no one's
Yeah.
surprised by that.
essentially
Well, yeah.
not always the best written is what I'm saying for fan fiction.
I don't know
Or
what,
you know, maybe
I don't know
some
what fan
books.
fiction you were reading, but all the fan fiction I read was excellently written.
Okay, so I'm not even sure if this is just like a thought experiment or if there's actually a ghost in a drain, but we're gonna continue.
Okay.
So she's done studying. Then, more than ready for sleep, she climbs up to her loft and flops down. She
Flops.
This definitely sounds like it's gonna get erotic any minute.
She reaches
Describe her breasts, please.
She reaches to pull up her blankets. There, at the foot of her bed, on the same ladder she just climbed up seconds ago, is the horrid figure. She is sure the door was locked, and when she returned to her room after supper, no one was there when she came back from the bathroom. Was there a ghost in the dorm?
No, it's Dave, the guy that's stalking her. That's obviously the one that's in the closet.
The girls concluded that there was, and they have proof. Sometimes students who are known for their neat
What does
rooms
this have to do with
will
a drain?
find them all out of order. Clothing and books and papers strewn all over the floor. Locked doors open slowly in the early evening hours, or radios and TVs are blaring when their owners are sure they had turned them off when they left their rooms.
These are also college students that might be drinking, might be doing other stuff.
This is a wholesome girls' dorm, Rochelle.
Yeah.
Sometimes, even in midwinter, when the heat is on in the rooms and halls, a cold draft or a cold spot will be felt. Always in the same part of the same rooms. Some of the girls wake up to their names being called out, but there's no one around, and the hall is perfectly quiet. Probably the most alarming incident on Hoyam's 5th floor made the girls wonder if their ghost liked water. Lots of it.
What? Ew.
Or maybe lived in the bathtub drain and sewer lines.
That seems like a leap.
Okay, this is their oh my god.
Guys, I'm
bathtub-
starting to think this book is not very good.
A bathtub faucet flooded their
fiction
bathroom
is
with
better.
hot water, not once but 3 times in a month. That just means that they have shitty plumbing.
Yeah, that's probably full of all of their hair.
2 inches
Yeah.
of water on a bathroom floor and gallons of it seeping out under the door and into the carpeted halls is not a trick students would play on each other. Especially
Yeah,
when
it totally is.
on their return from mid-semester break, they had to work those first 2 hours sopping up the water or pay someone to bring in a wet dry vac to clean up the rest of the water.
Yeah, you don't have to
Why
pay
is this
someone at your
evidence for
college.
ghosts?
Yeah, it's just there's shitty plumbing and there's a floors full of girls with hair that goes
Listen
in.
that are not
this-
cleaning up after themselves.
Listen
Yeah.
to this sentence.
Okay.
One would hardly think the students enjoyed the mopping and the expense enough to cause the flood the second time and third times. It had to be a ghost.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I
What?
guess that this was an 85-year-old
blaming-
Lutheran lady.
They're blaming
deciding
their
this
plumbing
happened.
issues on a ghost.
That's creative. I mean, when I was a little kid, I would blame bad stuff I did on a ghost, and his name was Corker, and he lived in the attic. So this isn't that different.
I think your information is more interesting than us reading
Well,
fan fiction when
okay.
you're 13.
You know how Casper is a friendly ghost? This ghost
In
I
theory.
made up, Corker, not so friendly. Get it?
Kind of like elves.
Sure.
Okay, all right.
So that was the entire ghost story.
Yeah, that was real
A
bad.
girl's dorm room flooded.
3 times though,
Probably,
Samantha.
yeah, because their
3
hair was
times.
clogging the drains.
All right, I'm going to read to you from Ghost Stories of Minnesota, a totally different book, and it's called New Year's Eve Ghost.
This one better be better.
It's only 1 page, so it's got that going for it. A family that died in a terrible car accident in Stillwater seems doomed to spend eternity repeating the final moments of their lives.
Bummer.
Much to the horror of modern day witnesses. This account comes from the Ghost Hunters Society of Minnesota, which I would like to join. Please consider me for membership. During the winter holiday break from school at about 7 p.m. one evening, Megan Lynett and her friend Colleen were tobogganing in a room. Of course they were.
Does-
Minnesota story ever.
And what is tobogganing? Is that just sledding or like what the fuck?
I think
is
it's just a
I
slip.
think it's
Okay.
just sledding, but you're in Minnesota. In a ravine in Battle Hollow near the intersection. This is so specific. Near the intersection of Laurel Street and Owen Street. The girls had stopped sliding to play on a large fallen tree when they heard a terrible noise that sounded as if it was just a few feet above their heads. The pair had no idea what was making the noise, but they were very scared. They fell to the ground, huddled together. Then they ran up the hill and dragged their sleds home. Well, that was anticlimactic.
Is that the whole story?
No.
Oh,
The
boy.
following Monday, one of the girls reported the incident to a teacher who happened to be a longtime resident of Stillwater. Upon hearing the story, the teacher told her students of an incident that occurred during the Christmas season of the early 1900s. A car carrying a family of 4 drove across a bridge that once sprawled the ravine. Oops, spanned.
We've been drinking.
Once spanned the ravine the girls had been sledding in. The bridge was icy, and the car slid and plunged over its side.
Oh.
Everyone in the car was killed.
I might have heard this in like yeah.
It seems the girls were not the first to hear this eerie reenactment. 2 years after the fatal accident, a man walking in the ravine on New Year's Eve heard the loud noise too. The man also saw a ghostly image of a car going over the side of a bridge. The end.
Cool story, bro.
I mean, that was better than a flooded dorm room.
I might have
Yeah.
heard that when I went to the Stillwater haunted like little play thing when you went in a trolley and they went to different parts of it. They might have used that for part of it, but yeah, it was more cutesy. But
That was okay. There was some holiday elements in that one, so we're right on theme.
Yeah, and so of course we are, because this is a very professional show. Rochelle, did you have a story for us?
I have a story from Haunted Lakes 2, bitches. Yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome.
I'm sorry, was that Haunted Lakes 1?
No, it's Haunted Lakes 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's called The Lighthouse of Doom. I had to say it that way, you guys. There's no other way I can say it.
Of course, it's the Lighthouse of Doom.
It's a couple pages, so I don't know. We'll see if it...
You can sort of skim or just see what happens.
Yeah, the annals of the lighthouse keeping the replete. Okay, there's a lot of fucking words in here. I don't know
Wow,
how to
the
say.
annals of the repletes?
Yeah, annals of
draw
lighthouse
that.
keeping are replete with stories of strange doings, shadowy ghosts climbing steep
I'll show
and
you
winding
some strange doings.
Liz is practicing to be a phone sex
Yeah,
operator,
I was about to
Rochelle.
say that was very much.
I
like,
know you were surprised by
what
this, but
not at all.
well, maybe you weren't.
No. Strange doings. Shadowy ghosts climbing steep and winding tower stairs. Mistress
Climbing
lights.
steep and winding stairs.
Are you charging like $3.99 a minute? Mm-hmm. I'm very proud of you. Get that money. All right.
You can spend a little more to get some feet pics with some chipped toenail polish.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, climbing steep and winding tower stairs, mysterious lights glimmering from the lamp room, phantom ships peering offshore, and unearthly sounds echoing through empty rooms. Certainly among the strangest tales is that of St. Ignatz Island Lighthouse on Lake Superior's rugged Canadian shore.
Is this the Lighthouse of Doom, I assume?
Yes.
This is on Lake Superior.
Yes, let's just say
the paragraph
yes.
I read. But yeah, it's about the rugged Canadian shore. So it's technically Canada. Why are we reading something about Canada?
It's just Haunted Lakes.
It's Haunted Lakes too!
Oh, okay.
It's not
cool,
specifically
cool.
in Minnesota.
All right, totally cool. Rugged Canadian shore. Although its career was short, a mere 6 years, events at the little lighthouse were eerie enough that it was quickly gained the reputation as the Lighthouse of Doom.
Rochelle, I'm so scared. Hold me.
Did someone
No.
die there?
I don't know. I'm reading it right now. I didn't pre-read it. Rational people can explain an array of the events that happened there. It's just an unfortunate chain of circumstances, bad luck, and nothing more. Oh, okay. But
That
those
actually sounds like something Rochelle would say, so.
what?
You would explain away the Lighthouse of Doom. You would say that's just bad luck. That sounds like you.
Yeah, but I didn't like. Okay.
No, it's ghosts. Let's hear it.
Okay, but
Ghosts.
ghosts, but those who open their minds to
Yeah,
a
open
wider
your
stream of
fucking mind.
consciousness, who accept that there are things that we don't always understand, perhaps will consider the idea that the damned place was truly cursed.
Oh, I accept that.
Boom.
It needs
Mic
to get
drop.
to the fucking point.
Oh no, there's 3 pages of this shit. I'll be skipping some of this. Saint Ignace Knight, Ignace. How the fudge? Ignace.
I think it's Ignis.
Saint Ignace
Yeah,
Light
you
was
know,
the first.
that really sexy name, Ignis.
Ignace Light was the first Canadian light built on Lake Superior. It was included in the group of 6 contracted for on June 6, 1866. This
Wow,
is
this
important.
guy thinks we need to know a lot more about lighthouse
I'm
contracts when we
skipping
really
some of
we
that.
just need to know about ghosts.
I'm skipping some stuff.
So their lighthouse keepers
It's
died.
it's telling me like this very specific place it was and the history of it. I'm skipping stuff.
All right, I just marked this because it said Lighthouse of Doom.
Yeah, typical lighthouse of the period. Okay, the keeper for the first season, this is like a page and a half in, was Mr. Perry. Apparently, he was good and a reliable man who did the job well. I don't know what that means.
we weren't trying to malign him.
He turned the light off.
Yeah. When the season ended in November, he carefully did all the many tasks necessary to secure the light for a long winter, and then went.
Wow, what a
then
great story.
And then left in an open boat for Hudson Bay Company
just fucked
to get
off
some
in a boat.
really cool clothes because Hudson Bay Company at Nepegan, which is a place that we're supposed to know, more than 20 long miles up to the north. He didn't make it. When spring came, his frozen body was discovered near his boat on the shore in
shit!
Nepegan Bay.
But he didn't even die.
Exactly
in the
how he
lighthouse.
died is unknown, but the local
died in a
men.
boat.
I
He
know, but the
froze.
local men thought he was just frozen to death trying to make his trip. You know, like how he actually died.
Yeah.
Okay. Undeterred, lighthouse authorities. Is there lighthouse authorities? Okay. Anyway,
Not here, but in Canada.
yeah, they're very, very, very well respected. Do they have cheesies? I want cheesy. Okay.
They're paid in cheesies.
I very much
They're paid
distracted when.
in cheesies and great medical care.
Yes.
Can we move there?
I mean,
I still say that we can just say that we're part Canada, change the map, and be like, oh, it's always been like this. Trump's not going to know.
he'll never know.
We're just going to absorb Minnesota into Canada.
Yeah, they want that cool little boot. It's totally fine. We've totally worked. Undeterred, lighthouse authorities appointed Thomas Lamphier. Okay.
Was that really his name?
Lamphier.
This whole story is suspect now, except that it's so boring.
It sounds very much like a Reader's Digest story. Thomas Lamphier, as the new keeper for the next season, he decided to bring his wife to the lonely little island.
Oh,
you know what they were doing? Banging all the
could
time. Bone Town, USA.
In a lighthouse? That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like a romance novel or some shit.
I think they're going to die, though.
Yeah.
Because it's the lighthouse of what?
Doom.
That's right.
Let keeping was hard work, so he would welcome and help us to the company. To avoid Perry's mistake, he and his wife would winter on the island instead of braving the fall storms in a mad dash to civilization. Because, boning is really hard. They don't want it to do stuff, so,
just
stay there about bone time.
Okay, I don't know how they got enough food or whatever, but...
Yeah, Lamphier had sailed on Hudson's Bay Company schooner out of Fort William for 20 years, so he was familiar with the area and many dangers. His wife was a native, also used to the rough conditions. Is rough conditions being, hey, there's fucking winter here and there's snow?
Liz is gearing up to make that dirty.
Go.
Talk about the rough conditions, Liz.
The rough conditions.
Going inside and outside, inside, outside.
Rochelle, my parents listen to this. How dare you?
They were the perfect couple to operate the light and to winter over the island. I don't know how they're perfect. Maybe just because they wanted to bone there the whole time.
Yeah, they were willing to stay.
But don't worry, here's the Robert Stack line. Then disaster struck. Lamphier became sick. Out of the desolate island, he was far beyond any kind of medical care, despite
no
his
one could
wife's...
have seen this coming. A guy getting sick in winter.
Out of the desolate island, he was far beyond any medical care. Despite his wife's best efforts, his condition deteriorated. He slowly weakened and finally died. Dun dun dun. Unlike the terrible saga of other people, there was no lack of food. Miss Lamphier was not tempted to consume her husband as Angelina did. So great. So she wasn't tempted to have cannibalism with her dead husband because
It'd be a better story.
They actually had some food. So yay! No Donner Party lake house style.
Is it true that if you do eat other humans, like it doesn't really even help you?
Depends. It depends on the body that you're taking it from.
Knows this off the top of her head.
No, because like the movie Alive, like they fed from other people that were like soccer athletes and actually had like muscle mass and stuff you could actually work with. Unlike the Donner Party, where they were very nutritionally depleted in the first place, so that wasn't very beneficial.
It was empty calories.
And then also Eddie Izzard, we're bringing back to the thing from the 3-Year Binder thing.
He says that is a cannibal?
No, but Eddie Izzard did say that cannibals have said that humans taste like chicken.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
But isn't it true that humans are so contaminated that we shouldn't eat humans because we've had so many like pollutants and stuff?
How about
and then I just
humans and maybe we just don't eat humans? Or
yeah, but I think what I said was true too.
Okay, sure. True.
Anyway, so everyone who goes to this lighthouse dies.
Yeah, finally spring arrived. Oh, no.
Hey, I have a great solution. Don't go to the lighthouse.
Or don't bone at the lighthouse and then realize that you're getting sick. But there is something cool after this. I think. I don't know anymore. Okay. But yeah, not to consume her husband. The biggest problem was the lack of burial ground on the rocky island.
Yeah, that was the biggest problem. Yeah. Not that he was fucking dead.
Yeah. After carefully wrapping his body in a stiff canvas sail, because apparently it's a sailboat from the station boat, she laboriously dragged her husband out back and pushed him into a large crevice deep in the rocks. For the rest of the long, dark winter, she stood a lonely and forsaken vigil on the Melancholy Island, not able to bone anyone.
That's in the book.
Yeah. Oh, that is sad.
But finally, spring arrived, and a group of Ojibwe people stopped at the island and found a very distraught Miss Lamphier. They were shocked to learn of the keeper's death, but also to see the horrible condition of his wife. Why was she?
Do you think she murdered him?
Do you think
God, I hope so.
These indigenous people showed up and were like, yeah, we told you not to stay here all winter.
Also, in this book, I don't think the Ojibwe word is actually written correctly, so that's a good sign. Anyway, she was drawn.
I can't believe you besmirched haunted lakes too.
Well, it is one of the few tribe names that I actually know because it's from Minnesota. Sorry, I'll shut up while I keep talking. But how?
That's the most Rochelle sentence I've ever heard. I'll shut up while I keep talking.
Pretty much. But also to see the horrible condition of his wife. She was drawn and haggard, old before her time.
She wasn't wearing any
A fate worse
makeup.
than death.
Most striking was her hair. Jet black when she arrived at the island. Now it was snow white.
Because she murdered her husband.
I think so.
Considering the overwhelming need to bury the keeper, they removed the body from its temporary mausoleum. It was in between some rocks. It wasn't really a mausoleum, but sure.
Rochelle, just throw that book on the ground. It sucks.
Record show,
we're
blah, blah,
done
blah,
with
blah, 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 blah. Okay, someone else died. Okay, there's 3 more pages. I don't care. A lot of people died in a row in 6 years.
I just really wanted you to say the Lighthouse of Doom, so you did a great job.
Lighthouse of Doom.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
All right, do you have another one for us, Liz?
Actually, I have one for you, Samantha.
Okay. Is it about Mothman's booty?
I wish I could not find any related stories on that topic. So I would just like you
This is
to
from the M-Files?
This story from the M-Files, true reports of Minnesota's unexplained phenomena.
All right. Liz refused to tell me about this before we started.
Say it out loud.
The giant bunnies of Lake Wobegon.
Boom.
Isn't Lake Wobegon a fake fucking place?
Yes, it is.
What is this? Okay, this is from the M-Files, true reports of Minnesota's unexplained phenomena. All right, well, this is probably not real, but we're going to read it anyway. I have tried your patience with Bigfoot. You have wondered about my gullibility when it comes to flying saucers. I have added caveman bones to Indian legends and come up with Bigfoot.
Wow, that sounds real racist. I'm glad we skipped that part.
But I have yet to offer you the strangest, the most odd, the most amazing, ... giant bunnies.
It's a real story about sightings of giant bunnies.
I would like to also point out that there's an illustration of these giant bunnies, and I'm assuming that's a self-portrait of the author.
I think that's
Garrison Keeler.
Was that Garrison Keeler?
Yes.
Not doing any sexual harassment things at all.
Well, he's not interested in rabbits.
Yeah.
Actually, Minnesota's jumping creatures were only once described as giant bunnies. Is this written by Garrison? No, J-Raff. Jumping creatures?
That's his, pen name.
Were only once described as giant bunnies. The rest of the time, they were described as kangaroos. What?
Not jackalopes?
They have been seen in Coon Rapids, near Anoka, hometown of humorist Garrison Keeler, and
Also
the
hometown of the
inspiration
cutest
for his
houses.
Lake Wobegon. It's just funny that these giant bunnies were spotted in Coon Rapids. That's a local reference.
But also Anoka, which we've all been to.
Yeah.
which
Halloween capital of the
we're gonna
world.
live when we're old.
In 1957, Barbara Batimer's 2 sons, ages 7 and 9, were playing in a forested area near Coon Rapids off Highway 10 when they saw 2 kangaroos hopping together. They claimed ever since that the kangaroos were 5 feet tall and that they crossed a small clearing about 50 feet away. They were light tan and medium brown. Maybe they just
So they're
escaped.
2 inches shorter than me. Sweet.
Linda Brody, another Coon Rapids resident, told Lauren Coleman, one of America's foremost cryptozoologists, that's in quotation marks, that she had also seen a kangaroo in 1958. Mr. Gary...
What if they just escaped from the zoo?
Maybe. I don't know. There's no zoo near Coon Rapids that I'm aware of.
Just someone that took some kangaroos and had them illegally as pets.
There's a footnote after that said, Coleman collected these Minnesota reports and interviewed the witnesses. He has generously shared his information with me. I have tried, and not surprisingly have failed, to find these Minnesotans for updates 30 years after the last sighting. Okay, so this author's done his due diligence. It's not his fault these people won't come forward to talk to him about their giant bunny sightings.
Not a kangaroo.
He's just
Alright,
the
Gordon.
wholesome story.
Mr. Gary Hayder told him that in the same year, her 2 brothers came home with reports of a big rabbit they had seen hopping around. That doesn't mean giant. That just means bigger than...
I mean,
fair-
some rabbits really are like the size of dogs.
They're pretty big.
Yeah.
But to be fair, if I was in the 50s and had access to a bunny costume just to screw with people, that might be a thing. No, we just saw a thing. Oh, I just saw a video about someone pretending to be Buddy the Elf and having pillow contests with people randomly.
Sure.
Like sometimes you just feel like, let's mess with people.
So Hazel and Willard Hayes saw two oversized, quote, bunnies, unquote, on the evening of April 24th, 1967, in an open area about a mile west of Highway 47 near the Anoka County Fairgrounds. If Minnesota does have kangaroos, one would reasonably assume that they do not respect state boundaries.
That would be reasonable.
Yeah.
A skeptic would argue that reports of such misplaced animals could be taken somewhat more seriously if there were similar reports from, say, Wisconsin. Well, Wisconsin has kangaroo reports, 9 of them to be exact.
But that's kangaroo, not bunny.
So fuck you, skeptics. Just across the Minnesota border in Eau
That's
Claire.
the working title for this book.
Fuck you, skeptics.
In Eau Claire County, a woman saw a kangaroo on Highway 12 between Augusta and Fall Creek. On May 21st, 1978, Mark Hall, a Minnesota investigator of sightings of the strange and apparently misplaced animals, has examined plaster casts of tracks left by a Wisconsin kangaroo. The casts were of tracks around 6 inches long and 3 inches wide. Generally, this is a quote, the tracks have a 2-pronged forked appearance with 2 knobs at the rear of the fork handle. This just sounds like a dick. I don't know. 2 knobs and a... He was out casting dicks that are drawn in the sand by high schoolers or something.
It's precursor to dick pics. It's dick drawings
Some
and
kids are
sand.
just fucking with this guy.
Liz is literally laughing into her elbow right now.
One Wisconsin kangaroo was even photographed near Waukesha.
Kesha? K$sign Sha?
Yeah.
Waukesha in 1978.
Waukesha.
That's not Waukesha, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Is that how you spell it? Mm-hmm. I've never seen it written out. In 1978, the photo and full accounts of the sightings were included in a book of Wisconsin's unexplained phenomena called the W Files.
Oh, shit!
Oh, fuck tie-in.
What?
Coleman describes the Polaroid photo as showing a tan animal with lighter brown front limbs, hints of a lighter brown hind limb, dark brown or black patches around the eyes, inside the 2 upright ears, and possibly surrounding... He saw a bunny, a giant bunny. Picture a giant bunny. He compares it favorably to Bennett's wallaby or bush kangaroo, native to Tasmania, where it ranges from lower valleys to snowy summits.
Come to Tasmania. Come to Tasmania.
Kangaroos or something like them have appeared in many other parts of the central United States, and if their sense of geography is strange, so is their behavior.
What? That is a terrible transition.
In January 1934, an incredibly fast kangaroo attacked dogs, geese, and ducks in rural Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
The Chattanooga Daily Times concluded, there is absolutely no doubt about these facts. A kangaroo-like beast visited the community and killed dogs, and that's all there is to it.
Oh,
Yes.
Jesus.
Fact.
Not teenagers are really terrible people just killing dogs.
This, as
Or
well
a
as
coyote.
some of the wilder Wisconsin
those don't
reports
exist. That's like jackalopes are huge rabbits.
Oh, yeah,
Sure.
you're right. There's
Those
no such
don't
thing as coyotes.
Yeah, no.
I was so naive.
two-legged hopping creatures makes me doubt that these stories report true kangaroos. I think they are historical reports of what has since become known as the chupacabras. Did chupacabras look like giant rabbits?
No, I thought
No, they
kind
also
of
tend to be
like
in South
Like mangy
America.
dogs.
mangy
South,
goats.
United States, not usually
Some
in Minnesota.
chupas.
Oh,
He's on a casual nickname basis with El Chupacabra.
is
reports-
Chupa's like mini, like
It's like a Chupacabra, but like cuter. It's like
Make
little-
mini that Taco Bell. It's the newest thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Most reports of chupas make them out to be 7 or 8 foot tall Bigfoot.
What?
Bigfoot, Chupacabras. Oh my!
But most often it sounds a lot like a kangaroo.
I don't think
mean
this guy knows what he's talking about.
But a kangaroo. The chupacabras, or goat suckers, makes its mysterious debut in Puerto Rico in 1995. Since then, it has been blamed for leaving a trail littered with dead livestock in Florida, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Texas, and California. The livestock attacks are distinct from classic cattle mutilations. However, chupas attack livestock, puncturing their necks. Part of the puzzle is that there supposedly is no established tradition of the chupacabras. Is this a rabbit or a chupacabra?
This guy's
Or
just
Bigfoot.
rambling now.
Yeah, and Chupacabras have existed before 1995. It's just more and more proof of something that they believe could be Chupacabras as of 1995.
Look, Rochelle, we're lives in those chupacabras.
I think this entire theory rests on the fact that
What people
apparently
believe it. Never mind.
in the Campo Rico district of Puerto Rico, the chupacabra is not called chupacabras, but is referred to as el kangaroo.
So a kangaroo.
And guess what that translates to?
I'll never guess.
I really don't understand what the thesis of this is. Are there kangaroos in Minnesota, or are
Yes.
there giant
Yes.
rabbits?
Well, he was saying he was only once described
Can
as a
kangaroos
rabbit.
survive in our winters? They are native
Yes.
to Australia.
Yes. Also,
the tall and strong as shit. They're probably the only thing that I would akin to a giant rabbit because
Minnesota is full of kangaroos.
we just don't know it.
Yeah.
The giant bunnies of Lake Wobegon. The only reason
I
they
was
call
so
it
happy
Lake
to-
Wobegon is because near Anoka,
Yeah.
someone spotted a giant bunny.
That guy thinks he's being cute. There's a lot of winking. He's like,
I don't appreciate his winking.
I'm going to read to you the legend of the blue light from Ghost Stories of Minnesota. Guess where this takes place? A freak accident in early 1900s in Stillwater has
Where all the ghosts are.
have given rise to an eerie legend that lives to this day. A farmer living in a house below a train bridge was reportedly employed part-time as a track checker. In those days, track checkers used a blue light and a lantern to warn oncoming engineers to slow down when rail conditions warranted caution. One night, a train passed too quickly over the bridge above the farmer's house and cast off a shower of sparks that fell onto the house and set it ablaze.
A blaze.
Ablaze!
Okay, cool.
Burning the man's wife and animals to death.
Cool story.
The grief-stricken farmer put a curse on the area, as farmers have the power
Okay.
to do, and that curse stood the test.
Farmers have
Okay,
the
no.
power to
This
do.
is the actual story. Like the
I
other
am-
Stillwater story confused me. This one actually was on the ghost.
I wish that
trail
was part of it.
one. Yeah, he cursed that land or
And
whatever.
that curse stood the test of time. Since then, the farmer's ghost has haunted the track. Frequently, at the same time of day as the tragedy occurred, an eerie blue light is seen at the spot where the farmhouse burned down.
Yeah, this was totally used in the Stillwater ghost tour, and also, by the way, they proved that he probably killed his family. If you're-
Whoa.
Yeah.
Legend has it that anyone that sees a blue light will die. So
Cool.
it makes it hard to verify that story. In 1968,
I've seen the blue light, but it was
does
also
indeed.
totally fabricated for a play. So
Rochelle.
Can you stop being a buzzkill?
Rochelle. That's
Yes.
Like, that's like the Ring. If you see that blue light,
I paid
Courage
$10
for
to
you.
watch a play on a trolley to get that experience.
okay,
It
look,
was very
4
fun.
teenagers drove to the area on a double date and experienced the curse. Though none of them died, they all experienced a fright and some very bad luck.
I thought the curse was
As
to
the
die.
two couples got out of the car for some fresh air, they discovered that all of their tires were flat.
No.
After stumbling about in the bush for an hour unsuccessfully looking for help, the foursome headed back to the car in a single file. That's weird. The first 3 teens passed through a narrow part of the path unhampered, but the fourth ran into a barbed wire fence. As soon as the others helped
So he was stupid?
untangled their friends, they saw a blue light hovering above the ground. It was the last time every of them ever went to that spot. Wow, that was really anticlimactic.
Wait, I thought everyone who saw the blue light died.
Yeah, except for these 4 teenagers that just had a bad time.
Yeah, they popped some tires. Their dumbass friend walked into some barbed wire that was somehow there because they were drinking and he was drunk. But, you know,
Okay. Rochelle got kind of a bad one last time. I feel bad.
I read Haunted Lakes too, bitches. It was pretty awesome.
Okay.
Maybe there's a
That's
good
the
one.
name of the book.
No, I know I have a good one here somewhere.
Oh, God. There's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, there's no good ones, but some are better than others.
Fair.
Okay.
That compares to giant rabbits.
Okay. I would like Rochelle to read to us about the Minnesota State Fair.
Oh, God.
Is this gonna be the little brown bird?
No.
Oh,
There's a different ghost at the. You should start here with yet.
thank you for the heads up. I will not read all of it. Or until it gets boring. Yet, among all these healthy, prized animals, the oddest animal is one that is not even alive. The scorn in my voice does not show my actual scorn. Hands down, the weirdest animal inside the livestock barns has to be the phantom pig that haunts the swine barn. That's right.
Phantom pig that haunts the swine
Samantha,
barn.
I will say the next line. That's right, a phantom pig. I, not me, but the author of this book, Chad Lewis, I have been privy to several accounts of people who, while strolling through the swine barn, because, swine barn,
A regular pig.
have noticed the apparition of a pig inside one of the pens.
There's a pig in a pen.
The bizarre sight.
It must be a ghost.
Yes, the bizarre sight is fleeting, though, as most witnesses reported that it only lasted a few seconds before the spectral swine disappeared before their eyes.
Swine.
I love Minnesota so much.
There's a pig in a pen in the swine barn. It must be a ghost.
Disappears after 5 seconds. You don't know. Legend, because there's a legend now, legend states that no matter how many times you try, and regardless of the type of camera you use, the phantom pig will not show up in any photographs because it doesn't fucking exist.
No, it's a phantom.
Phantom. And true to the legend, I have yet to see any photographs of the Minnesota State Farm's phantom pig. Like all great infomercials hosts say, but wait, there's more. Actually, there's much more, including another phenomenal creature lingering around the fair in case you...
It's also the phantom cow.
Yeah, this case brings us to the old...
chicken.
I think this might be the little brown bird.
This case brings us to the reincarnated bird of Ye Old Mill. The Ye Old Mill, which is one of the oldest rides of the fair, which I think closed last year.
Did it
That's
really?
not what the little brown bird would want.
I haven't read ahead to know that.
You upset the spirit of the Little Brown Bird State Fair. You
Bring it.
fucked up.
You're gonna bring more
the
phantom pigs upon us.
Yeah, there's plenty of pigs. You don't need phantom pigs there. The Ye Old Mill, god damn it, is one of the oldest rides at the fair, or it used to be. It consists of old rickety wooden boats that drift slowly through an old milled facade because that's
the ride.
important of the building, along with a slow-moving waterway that winds itself through the snooze. In all of its simplicity, the ride is actually quite fun as a throwback to the rides of yesteryear. It's not fun. It's a pain in the ass.
I've been on the Ye Old Mill and it's not super fun.
Yeah,
What
like
is
it's
it?
not a.
It's just a little boat ride that
It's like a raft ride.
It slowly floats you around.
It's barely tolerable when you're a teenager.
What you can imagine it is.
Okay.
Like, not even old
Why is
people
that
like
called
it.
a mill?
Because it goes through like a it goes
You're like
through
on a log
mill.
ride, except it goes slower
okay.
than anything else. It's stupid.
Yeah. St. Paul was the mill city, so like it makes sense.
Have you ever wanted to go on a log ride, but like super slow?
Yeah.
Step right up.
No, don't want to. It's cool.
You might see the ghost of a bird.
Yes.
A little old bird while you're outside.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be fun. For many years, the man in charge of dispensing the fun and tickets was Wayne Murray. By all accounts, he was a true fair worker, which means he showed up and did his job. Okay.
Yeah, he's did his job for a couple weeks a year.
Yeah, he took pride in the historic ride and strove to make sure that everyone who passed through enjoyed themselves. I don't know how you do that other than like, sorry, this is going to suck for you. Go and sit in a ride for 10
Hey,
minutes.
have you considered that other ride over there?
You should go to the haunted house. It's way better.
You want to go get some, like, fries or anything?
Go get some Sweet Martha's cookies. You will not regret
What's
it.
that thing that's like kind of like an old timey ski lift? What's that called?
I think it's just a chair
Air
lift.
ride?
Yeah, it's just a chair lift. I don't know that it has a name. That just
Those
transports you.
pagoda things that are like a
I think it's the air ride.
yeah,
the
I like
sky
that.
ride or
I
something.
like that thing.
The one that's, like, shaped like an egg. Otherwise, the
Yeah.
one that the ski lift. There's
It makes
two
you
of
feel
them.
like you're in like 60s Italy.
I like that this is what we're...
Hey, everyone! Come
to
to the Minnesota State Fair!
Everything's fried and people are sweaty and gross, and you will want a plague to happen with humanity. Yay!
Wow,
I mean,
Rochelle, that was a you could have
Clearly,
talked about
Rochelle
that. You
doesn't
could,
like the Minnesota State
you
Fair.
could get a bucket of cookies there. You could talk about some other stuff.
Oh, like, the fries are good. There's some,
You can
like,
get
deep apple pie.
Deep fried butter on a stick.
There's Oreos.
There's a phantom pig.
The deep fried Oreos are
Phantom
good.
pig, like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
yeah.
the cinnamon
okay.
rolls outside the horse
But
barn.
what I'm assuming is the reincarnation is Wayne this worker, because they keep talking about him. Ye Old Mill was visited by a bizarre black bird, blah, blah, blah.
I thought it was the
crow?
little brown bird.
There's apparently more than one.
Yeah, Wayne was
ghost
devoted to
bird.
the fair that he even returned from the grave to be there. After Wayne's
The
death,
fair is only a couple weeks a year.
this was his whole life.
That's impossible.
This book would have you believe this is all he lived
Unless
for.
you're the people that own that place that makes the bucket of cookies, because they make so much money those couple weeks. That's all they do.
Yeah, but yeah, apparently it's your little brown bird is a bizarre black bird. The bird
just a crow?
The bird flew over the ride and perched itself on top of the sign. The bird sat there for nearly an hour at a state fair where there's food on the ground, where people are throwing shit
Screaming.
Must
Yeah.
be a ghost.
Yeah.
I'm terrified right
before
now.
flying off into the sky. Not into any direction, just into the sky.
Into the sky.
Through the rest of the fair season, the bird.
He didn't dive bomb straight into the ground.
No, this is the best part. Throughout the rest of the fair season, the bird never made another return flight to Ye Olde Mill, but its absence would not last long. After a long Minnesota winter, summer, because there's no such as spring in Minnesota, was finally in full gear, which meant that the fair season was close at hand. First day of business, the same black bird flew in and took its spot atop
That's not the same fucking bird.
No, it's not.
It's a ghost, Liz.
Again, the bird sat there for quite some time, like an hour, before heading off into the sky for 2 years in a row. It did it over and over again.
Okay,
Isn't that amazing?
I
And it's
believe
not
in
like
the
there's a shit
ghost
ton of
pig
birds.
before I believe that bird is not just a bird.
Because the fair is outside.
I'm more disappointed in finding out that it's a black bird than a brown bird.
Raise your hand if you believe in the ghost pig. It's Rochelle.
Guess who raised their hand? The listener
Everyone
can
else.
imagine.
Everyone else.
How long have we been doing this shit?
Do you want me to read another one?
Sure.
I can read another one from the M Files.
Okay.
Oh, I read it from Haunted
Let me
St.
try to
Paul,
find
I
one
think.
that's not racist against Native Americans.
Yeah, that's tricky.
Do you want me to read about Bigfoot or UFOs?
Bigfoot.
Okay. Bigfoot, capital of the world.
That is us, everyone.
Minnesota is home to the Bigfoot capital of the world, the town Crookston. If you visit, you can lunch on Bigfoot burgers, Bigfoot cookies, and even view a life-size statue of the creature outside RBJ's restaurant. You can buy a
Arby's restaurant.
You can buy a Bigfoot doll for $20, Bigfoot jam for $4.75, and Bigfoot chocolates for $10.
I can just make my own jam. I don't need to buy
Yeah, Rochelle
Bigfoot
makes
jam.
real good
But you
jam.
will apparently have little chance of seeing Bigfoot.
Why not?
The Crookston Development Authority in 1995 took a report of unusual tracks near the Red Lake River and spun it into a publicity campaign for the town. Does this mean there are a lot of sightings there? No, says Kim Samuelson.
What? This is all a lie?
Proprietor of RBJ's
P.T. Barnum and
restaurant
the
and the Development Authority Bigfoot expert. We really don't have any information. A disappointment, but I will say this much. The dolls look pretty cool.
I'm honestly hurt.
Crookston is full of crooks.
Yeah, that's their new slogan. Should I
They
read?
didn't like that name. They wanted to.
Should I read Fountain of Sorrow?
Yeah, Fountain of Sorrow.
There's an elaborate old fountain in the middle of the Wabasha Street caves that is said to spray tears of sorrow.
Just water?
The fountain reportedly
Tears of
Water comes
sorrow.
out of a fountain?
came from the garden of a mansion in Minneapolis that was once owned by the barbed wire promoter and oil man, John Weirn.
Barbed wire
Gates.
promoter?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I'm salesman, I'm guessing?
He sold barbed wire?
Someone had to.
I suppose.
Probably made a
Gates.
shit ton of money back in the day with farmers
Someone had to invent it and sell it, and I don't know. Gates
Promote it.
went
and make a shit ton of money instead of other people.
to Texas before the Civil War and later made a fortune selling barbed wire fencing to Washburn Company and working in an oil patch. Great. He died in 1911 from a malignant tumor in his throat. Also awesome. He left his fortune to his wife, their son, and selected charities.
I'm assuming he was smoking a lot of tobacco back then.
The son, Charlie, reportedly inherited the equivalent of $31 million. Unfortunately, Charlie died 2 years later from excessive behaviors. His death...
Addicted to something, I'm
glug,
assuming.
glug.
Oh. Excessive behavior.
Drugs.
Well, but yeah.
Charlie died 2 years later from excessive behaviors.
I'm going to say excessive behavior is just eating too much cheesecake.
Probably.
That's how I will die.
And in the spirit of all of these other wholesome mysteries, yeah, he developed a soft spot for eclairs.
And he was lactose intolerant, so that was way too much.
Oh God, Charlie, you gotta come back. His death is said to be responsible for the sorrow emanating from the fountain. The house in Minneapolis, one of many homes Gates owned across the country, was reportedly torn down in 1933. What? What? Why? What? What? That doesn't say anything about the fountain, really.
Is that the end of the story?
Yes.
It just
Yay.
water comes out of a fountain? They've decided it's tears?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Should I read another one?
Yeah, that was terrible.
The ghost of death.
But death, logic train is kind of like,
Okay.
no, didn't really
For
stop there.
ghosts are generally thought to walk only at night. But Artis Stein, director of the Rousseau County Historical Society, has been able... Okay, no, this is racist.
Oh, God.
I'm not reading this.
Did we read anything from the Yellowstone book?
Oh, I did mark one that was about a headless bride. This is from Yellowstone Ghost Stories, Spooky Tales from the World's First National Park.
That was given by a
Someone,
fan, right?
Yeah, they were on vacation and they saw this and they went, you know who would want this? Lives in Samantha, and they were correct. Okay, this is called The Headless Bride. The Headless Bride of Old Faithful Inn is one of my favorite stories. It's about a mysterious but timid young lady. We first read of her in a local newspaper more than 10 years
We're
ago.
gonna describe me, mysterious but timid.
Yep, that's what I'm going to put in your obituary. Fascinated, we started asking some questions. Most of the staff at the inn knew some of her story, but no one knew much. We finally traced it to George. George is the author of this sad tale of the lonely apparition. At the time we spoke to him, he was the inn's manager. He told us that the Headless Bride appeared at the insistence of visitors who for years pressed him for a ghost story. Little did he know that his beautiful and haunting spirit would endure for decades. During the fall of 1982, George was a bellman and was finishing up the summer season. He and another employee were closing the inn in preparation for the long winter ahead while reading in his room a little past midnight.
So reading a book, this sounds very Minnesotan.
Yeah, while spending a wholesome evening at home with his hot cocoa and a book, George heard something down the hall. Would this interfere with his snowshoeing the next day?
Liz, was it a drain?
Turn the page to find out. Knowing that everyone was supposed to be gone, he put down his book and walked to the balcony overlooking the lobby. Looking in all directions, he saw nothing and returned to his room and his book.
He also saw a little black bird.
15 minutes later, he heard the same noise. Once again, he put down his book, went out to the balcony, and this time checked the halls. Again, he saw nothing.
Should also be pretty pissed by this point if you get into
Finally, returning to his room, he heard the noise again, and it was louder than ever. George ran to the balcony, where he just in time to see a transparent figure ascend from the crow's nest high above the lobby. The figure was draped in a white flowing gown. It was a young woman, not much older than a child, and she was carrying, tucked under her arm, her head.
Not older than a child?
Yeah, that's gross.
Headless child bride?
Yep.
And also, like, yes, it's headless, but it's already a ghost, so it's not.
Also, she's not technically headless if she's carrying her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just head adjacent,
The
like
head
a
is
purse.
there.
George called out for the other employee, and they left the inn that minute and did not return.
You know that inn's pretty impressive when it has one other employee.
It was the off season, Rochelle. That winter, while doing research in the library at Missoula, George discovered that there had been a death, perhaps even a murder, at the inn in the summer of 1914. It took place in room 127. A couple who had just gotten married came there to spend their honeymoon, despite the fact that she was a child.
And also it was the peak of the Spanish flu, sure.
Sounds very romantic.
Yeah.
What seems to have been a grand and glorious day for the two newlyweds eventually turned into a nightmare. There was an argument,
so yeah,
a fight, and then the groom left, never to return. It was thought by everyone that his young bride, overcome with grief, had locked herself in their room, refusing any food or service.
And her head just popped off.
like a dandelion.
After a few days, the staff became rather worried about the young lady. So the manager sent a member of housekeeping staff to room 127 to see
What a fucking... Yeah, this is the manager. You go in and check.
Yeah, really. You go see what's happening in room 127. I got a bad feeling about this.
Or, hey, I killed her and I don't want anyone to know, so here's my collaborative story.
Wow, Rochelle's got a suspect.
The plot thickens.
Boom.
When the young bride would not answer the door, the housekeeper opened it and found the young bride lying in a bathtub in a pool of blood without her head. In time, more pieces of the tale surfaced. Investigators found that the young girl of 15, gross,
Ew.
was the only child of a rich and affluent family, and she was heir to a $1 million shipping firm in New York City. She had fallen in love, however, with a family servant much older than she. Their affair was discovered, and the girl immediately fell from her father's grace, blah, blah, blah. He saw through the ambitious man's plans of marriage in order to join the business. The daughter refused to listen to her father and got married anyway, blah, blah, blah.
Sounds like a teen drama.
Yeah.
You know, 18 early 1900s.
The young
style.
bride was sent by her husband to contact her father by telegram and get some money. Her father refused to send money. At this point, the husband became livid and they fought, which, wow, that's really nice. The father's bride was notified by park officials, and he arrived heartbroken a few days later. All news concerning his father's death was hushed to discourage any chance of scandal. Eventually, the bride's missing head was found in the corner of the crow's nest at the inn, but by then her body had already been disposed. When all of the daughter's affairs had been put in order, the father returned to the family home in New York.
So they didn't even really look for her head for a while. They just took the rest of the body and was like,
It's gone.
"Oh, let's look around." Like, "Oh, it's not anywhere on the ground."
It sounded like it was hidden. It was just like in a balcony, like whop. So the father went back to New York and never spoke of his daughter again. Now, almost a century later, it is in the Old Faithful Inn that the pianist puts away his music and the blah, 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 blah. Someone... Yeah, anyway, there's a ghost there now. That's the only, like, real ghost story we got. We had to go to Yellowstone.
But also
Yeah.
no names of who it could actually be to tie it into, like, who's the dickish
Look,
dad.
you gotta do some research. Here you go.
I feel like a headless bride is such like a, I don't know, a standard ghost story.
You're just rolling your eyes. You're like, not true.
I mean,
It's a ghost story. I
Should
mean,
we go try to stay
it's not
in that
true like
room?
the Phantom Pig.
Well, not
well,
every place
you
can
can
claim.
see a phantom pig for like 5 seconds, but you can never take a photo.
And true to legend, I've never seen a photo of the Phantom Pig.
Yeah.
So think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Think about it.
Don't think about it.
All
Ever.
right. Well, this was a lot of fun.
Should we
So,
rate
yeah, how was this
these
festive?
books out of...
Should we rate them? Okay. How do we rate Ghost Tales of Minnesota? This is the one with the haunted drain.
1 to 5, meh.
I think this is a 0 Robert Stack.
Wow,
That
okay.
wasn't even a ghost story. That was
Yeah, that
just
was pretty
girls
bad.
who didn't want to get charged to have a plumber come in because they kept clogging their drain with hair, so they said it was a ghost.
I
was a
like
ghost.
Haunted St. Paul better.
I'll
This
give
was
it
the
a
one that had
2.
the pig.
Yeah, the pig was
I
pretty
like
solid.
the pig story.
It seems a little better written. I might give this a 3.
Okay, 3 Robert Stacks?
Sure.
Solid. How do we feel about the M-Files?
For its blatant racism, it's pulling it down, but I do like that it talks about bunnies. So I'm gonna
I
give
also
it,
like that it ties in the W files. So,
let's give it a 2.
Yeah, I think we can do a 2 Robert Stacks on that one.
What about Yellowstone ghost stories?
That was the only actual ghost story.
Yeah, I feel like this is a 3, maybe even higher.
Maybe a 4 for Yellowstone ghost stories.
I'd say Haunted Lakes 2, because of the sadness it involved, -1.
Wow.
-1
Too
for
long.
Haunted Lakes.
Too long-winded. Thinks we care way too much about
I
lighthouses.
love the cover, Haunted Lakes 2, bitches, but like,
Yeah.
No, this
no,
is...
it is sad.
Not good at
What
all.
about Ghost Stories of Minnesota? That one has some nice
Has a-
shorter stories.
I'll give that a possible one.
2.
2, I think Ghost Stories of Minnesota could get a 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Possibly Ghost Stories of Minnesota Volume 9. Not sure.
I give going to Half Price Books and looking in the metaphysics section for weird, random
Random
paranormal.
crap?
I give that 5 out of 5
For
Robert
sure.
Stacks, though, because that's
Absolutely.
always entertaining. Should we plug our shit or?
Let's do it. So you can find us on the social medias at Perhaps It's You.
If you wanted to email us your own paranormal tale that we could share on the show, which you should totally do, perhaps it's you podcast@gmail.com.
Subscribe.
Is your
on-
drain haunted? Did you see the phantom pig? Is
No.
there a bird that is probably an old coworker of yours?
No.
Send us the stories.
Yeah.
We want to hear it. You can throw a little bit of money our way on Patreon, patreon.com/perhapsit'syou, and you get a bonus episode every month.
Yeah, steal some money from your mom's wallet and send it our way.
Yeah. Rochelle, is there anything you'd like to plug?
No. I'm
Rochelle wants everybody to go to the library
and read books.
and read books and actually do their due diligence and not just say you saw a ghost and not give any names when you write.
Yeah, like at least let me. If I'm gonna hear your stupid like Hollywood Babylon like story with factual inaccuracies, I want to at least know the names that I'm supposed to connect it with.
I think that's fair.
That is totally fair.
All right.
Well, we hope you all
Thanks,
have a good
everyone. Happy
holiday.
holidays.
Whatever
Frosty the Snowman was a something goes.
Oh God.
Turn
Okay.
the recording off. That's the end of our show.
Merry